The Collective of Guides, via Salena Migeot, for February 1st, 2017, a message from your guides. Beloved ones, there is great joy on this side for all that is transpiring in your world. Events are taking place that are quickening your expansion into your higher selves. The Women's March, that was so well represented in so many countries, is very clear evidence that women are taking back their power and are ushering in a new world. Women and men will work together harmoniously and victoriously for the highest good of all. This will be exhibited in a greater awareness of what works for all, rather than a few. The old paradigms that exist in many governments will become less of a pyramid and more of a balanced representation of all people. Instead of voting blocks that you currently call Senates or House of Representatives, House of Lords, or House of Parliament, there will be councils that work together to adopt whatever policies, practices, or laws that benefit the vast majority of people. This will supersede the current win-lose scenarios that often do not take the well-being of constituents into consideration. Oftentimes, under many current systems, those in positions of responsibility lose sight of that responsibility in order to advance an agenda that may not serve anyone, save a few vested interests. The result of this type of process results in lose-lose scenarios. As the opposing party loses, the people represented on both sides lose, and even those who believe they benefit from these types of arrangements end up losing in other ways. There is always karmic balance. The universe has a way of leveling the playing field. It may take a long time, yet you will see in the coming months, years, and decades, a long overdue redistribution of power, wealth, resources, and information. Many technologies that have been suppressed will be revealed and will eventually become mainstream, instead of the old paradigm of things being covered up and only shared on a need-to-know basis, because things are fine as they are, and there is no need to change things. The era you are emerging into will be one of greater transparency and autonomy. People will be given more information, and will make the choice about what they do or don't want to change as a collective. Your access to information is still very limited in some ways, despite the advancements of the internet. The coming years will give you greater ability to access that which has been obscured or barred from public access. Along with that, a great deal of current content on the internet will be exposed as erroneous information. There will be quite efficient and reliable software programs that will eliminate much of the misinformation that is being spewed out on the internet. We do not only mean misinformation from media outlets. We are referring to any information that is not verifiable in some way, unless that information is not expressed as fact, such as fiction. There will be categories of information that are more numerous than the current classifications. For example, there will be factual information based on events that have transpired, factual information based on records that have been verified via a very stringent system that may include but is not limited to historical records, carbon dating, DNA and other biologic signatures, timestamps, as well as personal journals or media clips that have been verified as credible. This is just a minuscule example of the complexity of the verification process and the accuracy this will allow. Therefore, you can look forward to complete transparency in your political process, as well as every sector of society and industry, along with outright lying, misrepresentation, sarcasm, hyperbole, and other mechanisms that cloud or obscure reality in lower vibrational ways, often in the guise of humor, will become less and less prevalent. This will not be as Orwellian as it may sound. There will still be room for fiction, fantasy, humor, and all genres that exist, as well as more that will emerge through these changes. Know that your ability to represent life through your stories, illustrations, music, and all forms of art and creativity will become more expansive rather than less, as you become more heart-centered, and as lying becomes first less prevalent and ultimately nearly obsolete. You will draw on more creative ways to tell fanciful stories. The ability to assess the authenticity of another's story will rest less on what is verifiable than on what is energetically felt in the exchange. We want to make that very clear so that you are not concerned with life becoming more sterile and absent of feeling and emotion. Quite the opposite will happen. As you let go of lower emotions that do not serve you, you will have room for higher emotions and a more expanded ability to access your creative genius. More accurately, you will recognize, as you let go of lower emotions, that you are much more conscious of your thoughts and emotions, and you will very consciously choose to access and retain higher emotional states. This will usher in a new renaissance of thought, art, and creativity in many realms, including technology, and ways to catalog what is scientifically knowable in ways that you currently do not think of as scientific. There will be ways to authenticate personal experiences of what you call psychic, supernatural, paranormal, or metaphysical experiences. As such, these realms will be given much more credit and respect than they currently are. Practitioners of these arts will no longer be seen as lacking credibility or authenticity, or as quacks by the mainstream. Rather, they will be seen for the pioneers that they are, in heralding a new age of understanding for humanity to access more abilities. Dearest ones, we are painting a picture of some aspects of your most likely future. That is only a small glimpse of what the reality will be. For us to truly represent all the wonderful things that are in store for you, would be exhaustive for you to read at this time. We invite you to become very attached to whatever aspects of this message appeal to you most and envision it becoming reality. As you do this, you accelerate the process and make it more likely to occur more quickly. We have said this over and over, that you create your reality through your thoughts, visions, and emotions. Envision what you want to create, and know that we are able to assist you much more powerfully when you make it clear what you are wanting through your thoughts, visions, and emotions. Anything is possible. The more you invest in the reality that you want to co-create, the greater your return on your investment will be. Of course, you can leave the co-creating and investing to others, and it will still be better than you currently experience, but you will not feel the ownership in it that those who truly invest will. There may be some, perhaps many of your personal preferences left out. If you do not weigh in on decorating preferences and leave it to others, you have to live with the colors and patterns and styles of furniture they choose. If you do not weigh in on what flowers or vegetables you want planted in the garden, you have to live with what others choose. If you do not make your preferences known at your local community center when they are allocating funds for the playground, sporting equipment, recreational facilities, landscaping, etc., you have to live with what others choose. If you do not state your preferences when your loved ones are going to the grocery store, it is unlikely you will get what would have been your first choice. Dearest ones, we are belaboring this point so that you understand how crucial it will be to you going forward, that you state your choices and understand that your choices matter, and your choices will not matter if they are not heard until it is too late. When it comes to all of these less consequential things, as well as human rights, technology, rights to information, transparency, accountability, and so many other things, we want you to know that all of this is a process to allow you to open up to greater possibilities. That is why we are so proud of the many who joined together in the Women's March, to let the leaders know that we are one. Whether you were there or not, whether you understood what that was about or not, whether you agreed with it or not, we want you to know that the more you come together and stand for what you believe in, the more you will get what you want. It is not only through voting that you get what you want, it is through action and coming together and making your voices and your choices heard. That is powerful, dearest ones. Know we are loving you powerfully, in every moment, with every breath, and so it is. The collective of guides channeled by Salena Migeot Salenem2@msn.com. Feel free to copy, share, forward, or repost this message in its entirety with proper attribution.